I'm Travis Brungardt. I am in Waldo, a neighborhood in Kansas City, Missouri, with my good friend Jennifer Shelton. And we are not out on the trolley trail because I'm just not as tough as I used to be. And so we're not going to work out in the rain. But ordinarily when I see you, it's for a Thursday run or a Friday morning yoga, which I haven't been as consistent with as I should be. But let's introduce Jennifer. What do you do? Why do I know you?
In a nutshell, I help people become healthier, meet their health and fitness goals. And that's different for everyone. And it includes, types of workouts as well as, maybe a little bit of advice on nutrition, stress management, everything that involves somebody becoming healthier.
You definitely do that well. And I appreciate that about you because I really wanted to introduce you and the things that you've taught me to my other builder friends out there and people that I don't know who are just starting out or who are, like me, getting a little older and maybe transitioning from not wearing bags 10 hours a day to sitting in an office chair 6 hours a day. And why does my hip hurt? So you've been really helpful for me. And I want to have other people be able to take that leap ahead instead of waiting until they're injured, waiting until they're fat and miserable. Because that's really when you and I started working together. I was 7 years married and it was like, oh, I've put on about 25 pounds. That's not great. And you kind of revitalized my career because I'd been working for a small remodeling firm, and I think we laid like 5,000 square feet of tile in the last year that I worked there. My knees were shot and my back hurt, and I was like, I got to get a different career. I moved into project management, but before I did that, I had the good fortune of meeting you through my wife's boss at the time, who was the fittest guy that I knew. He was in his 60s then, I think, because I was in my 20s. He's always going to be about 40 years older than I am. That's how math works, right? Passage of time. But Tom was incredibly fit. And I asked him one time, what's your gym routine? He's like, I don't waste my time with that. I just go to yoga. And he took me to your class and it changed my life because it brought me back from not being able to enjoy my work and frankly, not being visually appealing enough for my tastes. I like to think my wife would have stayed with me anyway, but that's not on her, that's on me. So what's your day-to-day routine look like for most of your clients? Because you have a very diverse background. You're a yoga instructor. That's how I mostly worked with you in the past. But then I really did ask you how do I shed these 25 pounds?
Right.
So you help with diet and all that. Talk about what you do.
What I do every day is different, depends on the client. I have some clients that I see 3 or 4 times a week because if I do not show up, they do not work out. And others I put on a program. Here's what you need to do. Here's your daily or weekly, depends on what type of flexibility we need to build for them. And sometimes I'm riding a bike with a client because they struggle getting their cardio in. Other times it's resistance training because that's the portion that they do not like and they need help with. Always at some level of stretching. Yoga helps with cardiovascular strength and flexibility. You don't have to call it yoga. If you don't like yoga, don't call it that. Just make sure you get in your strength training, your cardiovascular, and your flexibility. That's what most people, when we're younger, we don't realize that we can get by with it, right? We can get by with not stretching, but we can't the older we get. And more importantly then is the balance. We don't think about it when we're younger, but we have to add some level of balance, especially in the building industry. You guys it's so easy to get off balance. We're always doing something more with our right hand or leaning, so things get out of balance. So it is really about how do we build strength and balance and flexibility.
One of the aspects that was most critical for me after you kind of taught me how to move properly again was I didn't realize the tremendous stress reduction that I got from a yoga practice. And it doesn't have to be yoga, meditation, just quiet time, whatever it is for you, but do have something in your life that allows you to have some peace. And just focusing on my breath for an hour, moving through a series of stretches with you, it was the most rested that I had felt in many, many years.